I'm about to fit a 2.5 engine into a, not naturally aspirated, into a Land Rover that Nick's just brought down today. And just like everything, we have to check everything we put it before we put it in. And this was on a gearbox. Don't trust clutches. And look what it was like. I wish we had smelly vision, because that is burnt. That's what you're looking for, a burnt clutch. What a shame. What a shame. They've just burnt it to death. Let me show you what a real one should look like. This is a genuine clutch. It should be a Valeo one. Yeah, it is a Valeo one. Before and after. You can see the difference, eh? Now this is off a 300 TDI, but it doesn't really matter, it'll still fit the same. But you can see where the little ribs are on here, where these have almost worn off. So that is kaput. Scrap. Now the other thing we're going to do at the same time, I don't know if you can see down here, the clutch bush here has actually sheared off. And this is why, well, it's broken. There's a crack in it here, and this is what it should look like. There's the bush, and I have these soaking in oil. So if you ever get a clutch bush kit or a clutch fork kit, I include the bush with the fork. But you can see that doesn't even go in. It's that bent over. It won't go in. I had a job trying to get it off the gearbox, but the actual cover, the springy bit down there, well, that looks good. There's no gouges or anything in it, so that's going to get used again. So I'm going to take this bush out, and I'm just going to use a die grinder, cut it and then pull it out. Nothing fancy. So I put the die grinder in, and there's the bush. See, I just split it, and out it came. And you can see what it looks like compared to a new one. It's been put in cockeyed. You see it's cracked here. That's not good. So to fit them, we put a sensible sized washer that's a nice fit on your shaft. Ooh. And then clean this out a bit, get all the debris out there, and then we look for a hammer. Damn wind, it's windy today, it keeps blowing my engine all over. And there you go. How easy is that? So the next thing what we're going to do, we're going to go to the engine bay, not E-bay, over here, and we're going to fit a clutch fork and the bush and lube it all up. I think we've done it before. Well, I'll just show you once again, just in case you've forgotten. But now, before we do that, we're going to put some lube inside here, if I've got any handy kicking about. Just wait a minute. So there we go. A bit of anti-seize on there. Get the shaft and work it in and out. Ooh. Now, be observant. Which is the flywheel side? Well, I think it doesn't matter on these because it'll only go in one way. That's right. It'll only go in one way. It goes in like that. Look at that nice tight fit on there. Isn't it lovely? Cover on, and then we'll diagonally tighten up the bolts crisscross to the correct torque, and that should be done. I don't know what the torque is at the moment. I forgot. 20 pounds, I don't know. We've set our torque wrench at 25 pounds or 34 Newton meters, and we're going to tighten these up diagonally opposite. That's it. This clutch has been changed before. You can tell that. and then just go around them and make sure they're all torqued up nice. Now, things to observe: the fingers of here, of the clutch, aren't worn. This is a good thing. You see here, if these were worn, the clutch is scrap. Usually the bearing digs in when it goes in and out, showing it's worn, but in this instance we can get away with it. Now, this was an ex-army truck, and I bet you the squaddies got stuck in a ditch and were constantly slipping the clutch, burning the clutch out, instead of using the correct gear or high and low range or diff locks, and just burnt the damn clutch out. So never take anything for granted, never. You know, if you think, oh, the engine's been rebuilt, think again. So next step, we'll put the bits and pieces on the clutch, on the bell housing. Oh, the bell housing, yeah, inside the bell housing, and we'll get on with that. Oh, I might as well show you that as well while we're at it. Before I fit the clutch fork, check every component on this system before you put things in. Slave cylinder, looks nice and clean, looks good. Piston, seized. Now, I haven't got one, but I have a Bearmac repair kit. So I'm going to try and get the cylinder out and clean it out with a bit of 1000 grit paper with a bit of WD-40, because that's all it's good for, and see if we can hone that out a little bit and clean it. I think it'll come out. Let's have a look. I won't show you how to do it, because everybody knows how to do that. Do you? Well, maybe just in case I'll show you. To get the cylinder out, I'm just going to pour a bit of compressed air in the inlet and see if it'll pop out. Now, do this away from your face, because there could be fluid and all sorts. Wait a minute, let's see if we can point it down here next to my scrap pile. Scrap V8s, that's all we ever know. Hey, look at that, we caught on camera. Wasn't that nice? And there we are. That's out. Now, if you look inside, there is a slight bit of wear where the piston's been. You see, there's no lube on it at all. Nothing. Let's clean it. Go and get some 1000 grit paper and let's see if we can clean that up. It's coming up quite nice. I just need to use my honing tool here, and we'll polish the inside of that cylinder. It won't take much off, because this is what it's designed to do. But we kept spraying it with WD-40, as you can tell, because I've got WD-40 on the lens now. So let me clean this up and see what it looks like, and the lens as well. Yeah, that looks better. Not only the lens is clean, but the cylinders come up beautiful, absolutely like new. No point buying a new one, save yourself a few quid. Right, next thing, we're going to have a look at the seal. I'm just trying the seal in the bore, and it isn't dropping in. It's quite a nice fit. I think that seal is going to live again, because when I look at it, there's no cut marks going this way, there's no chips or anything in the rubber, and I haven't got one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the seal on the rubber. Let's put it on the right way around, like that. There we go. Then give it a paint with red grease. This is proper red grease for hydraulics. Rubber grease. Again, we're going to put some on the inside of the bore, like that. And we're going to find the spring. Get the spring. Put the spring on here like this, and then simply drop the piston in like that. Now if it was to leak, well, we'll just put another one on, but we haven't got another one at the moment, so this one's going to have to do. Sad, isn't it? But I don't do much with these old 2.5s, you see. Now we'll put the rubber on, put the piston rod in, and we're good to go. So that saved us a little bit of money. This bell housing and the insides here was so rusty, I ended up sandblasting it to get all the rust off. Now I have blown it out quite well, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a spray of like a wax pen preservative. Just to stop it corroding. The next thing we've got to do, and you should have one, the clutch kit from me, the clutch fork kit, alright? Now, here's one I haven't wrapped up yet, but it's got a little nylon bush in there, and this I guarantee will last forever, and it'll make your clutch a lot smoother. I don't know why Land Rover didn't do it. What we're going to do is we're going to apply some grease here, 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 and here. Most important. And also we're going to put some grease on the ball as well, just in case. And we're going to put some anti-seize on the spline. Now we've already put some anti-seize on the clutch, but that's really to stop any corrosion, any further corrosion. So it's a bit tight for filming in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one that's when we get it all fitted, alright? In fact, let's see if I can move the camera and myself so we can actually see what's going on. So let's put this like this. We'll take a gamble and see if we can see. I don't know, maybe, maybe not. Let's see. Because I've got to try and get in there. So I'm using just bearing grease, but I'm not using it sparingly. Plenty of grease on. Even though it's nylon, still want some grease. And then, we put a bit of grease on there. And then we're going to retrieve off our old fork the shaft here. Now observe, there is no grease whatsoever in here. It's pushed out of the way, and you can see where it's starting to wear. Normally they all crack here and they drop out. That's no good, so let's get rid of that. We don't need that. The kit comes with a new holder. I'm just going to pause this video and clean this rod up. There's the assembly. Fitting it is really straightforward, right? Take the bolts out of there and lose those over there. All you got to do is guide that through here. You don't need to put your bearing on yet. Bring this back. Make sure the fork goes over the ball. This is where it gets a bit tricky. And that's it. Look at that, like a new one. Now while I'm down here, I might as well put our refurbished cylinder on. Now this is why I did it like in this method here, where I've put the fork on and then I'll put the cylinder on, because I know that I can get the bolts through. Now always remember, the bleed screw goes to the top, not the bottom. Tighten the bolts down. Just nip them up. And then with your torque wrench at 25 Newton meters. Don't do it up with a gun. Just click it up. That's it. 1, If you do those up with a gun, you've got a chance of stripping out the threads. It's not good. The clutch bearing that came out was absolutely excellent, so I'm going to put that back in. I'm going to put a little bit of grease on that shaft, even though I've put some honey goo on there. You can't try not to get grease on the clutch plate itself. That's what we're not trying to do. But we want some lube, because this isn't going to come off again in a long time. Now, you will see in the kit somewhere there is this staple. It is not always necessary to put this on. This is only for transporting the thing around, because normally they fall out. Now, observe, on a 300 TDI, it's at the opposite way around, so the fork's actually upside down, so the pin's underneath. Usually this little thing falls out. Bloody useless. So we'll put that in, anyway, see we've got it, and that'll retain the bearing in. As if. There we go. I don't know if you can see that, but it's in. So the next thing we're going to do, we've already taken the engine mounts out of here. The next thing, we're going to put a little bit of grease on this thread here for this pipe. We're going to start to put the pipe in for the clutch, because once the engine's in, it's going to be tight. And then, if you observe here that they've left the exhaust pipe in, well, that's going to be a pain when we put the engine in, so I'm going to get the bolts out. So I'm going to pause the video here, clean my hands up, put the top on the tub of grease, whoop, and clean up. And there you can see how neat it looks. So there we go, we've got a nice clean engine bay to drop this engine in here. We're going to do that, and then it's supper time, because I really want to get this done tonight, even though it's kind of late. But you can see how different that looks. It's all got to the right grease on, the clutch forks in. We don't want to go back in there for a very long time. Right, let's put it in. The engine, that is.